Okay, here's lesson 1 for commonly confused words. Make sure that you are in the mechanics section of your ELA notebook, that's section 2, and that you've titled it Commonly Confused Words, lesson 1. For the following slides, you'll write down the definitions or rules for each word. Next, you'll look at my examples, and then finally, you will create your own sentence examples using the words. Don't worry, I will repeat these instructions as we go, so just make sure you're listening carefully. A versus an. A comes before words that begin with a consonant sound. Consonant. An comes before words that begin with a vowel sound. Remember, vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. Consonants are everything else. Examples. Eric thought it was a great honor to receive first place. Great starts with a consonant, G. That's why A is before great. Eric thought it was an honor to receive first place. In this case, yes, honor starts with an H, which is a consonant, but you don't hear it. Instead, you just hear the O, honor. Remember, it's about sound. Eric thought it was an extraordinary accomplishment. All right, your versus your. Your means you are. Your shows ownership or belonging. Examples. You're just in time for class. Notice that in this case, I could replace your with you are, and it would make sense. For example, you are just in time for class, and it works. Is this your phone? In this case, I cannot replace your with you are. Is this your phone? That makes no sense. Therefore, you know that your, Y-O-U-R, is the correct usage here because it is someone's phone. It belongs to that person. All right, time to do your own examples. Accept versus accept. Accept means to receive or agree to. Accept means excluding. For example, I accept that I must do my homework every week. Means that I agree that I must do my homework every week. Everyone can come to the party except Geeky Greg. In this case, you are excluding Geeky Greg. Okay, time to do your own examples. Whose versus whose. Whose means who is. Whose shows ownership or belonging. For example, who's invited to the party this weekend? In this case, I can replace whose with who is. Who is invited to the party this weekend? See, that makes sense. Therefore, I know that it's this form of whose, who apostrophe S. Whose house are you going to before the party to get ready? Now, if I tried replacing it with who is here, it would make no sense. Whose house are you going to before the party to get ready? No sense. Instead, it's whose house, and the house belongs to someone. Therefore, you know to use W-H-O-S-E. Now it's your turn to write your sentences. A lot versus a lot. Simply stated, a lot is 2 words, not 1. A lot as one word does not exist. Never make it one word. It is always separate. A lot. For example, Mr. Molcott gives a lot of homework, but not as much as Miss Fiore. Alright, and lastly, who versus whom. Use who when the pronoun is the subject of a clause. Don't worry, I'll explain in a minute. Use whom when the pronoun is the object of a clause. Okay, so let's go back in time and remember what we learned last year. Subjects are the doers of the action in the sentence. They are the ones who are committing the action, doing the action. Objects are the ones acted upon. The action is being done to them. And then verbs usually come in between. So the verb tells us what the subject is doing to the object. For example, who went on the field trip? You use who because who is the subject. Who is the one going? Who went? They are the ones that went. They are the doers of the action. Whom did you see on the field trip? Well, you is the subject. See is the verb. So therefore, whom is the object. Therefore, you know to use whom. It would not be who did you see because it would need to be the subject. All right? So always ask yourself, who is doing the action? Who is doing the action? And if it's the subject, then it's who.